It's tough to do by yourself. I wish one of the guys was here. I was just trying to get the filming done today. I've got the gems tool in the bearing like it's supposed to be. I got the case supported with the gems tool, and when we pull this apart, I'll show you how that works. I should be ready to press this thing in. Normally I would put those bearings in the freezer for a few hours, but they've been out here all night, and I just turned the heat on a little while ago. So I don't think we're going to run into an issue. If we do, I'll press them out and put them in the freezer, but I think they'll go in just fine. So this gems tool has a lip on it, so that it presses the bearing in only as far as it's supposed to go, and we are there. You'll feel the restriction on this. Don't force this, because you just want to make sure it's seated good. If you force this, you're going to either bust this case or bust the backside lip that holds the bearing. And that's the last thing you're going to do is bust a case. So that one's in. I'm going to show you these pieces as we take them out. Slide this a little bit. So this is the part that goes through the bearing. This is the piece that presses the bearing down. I can't let go of that, but hopefully you can see that. There's a lip on this, and that's how far that bearing... You notice it says left side down. That's because it's pushing that bearing down. And then here's the case. And we have the bearing pushed in. You notice you always press the bearings in with the lettering out. I don't know if you can see that lettering in there, not on the bearing itself, but it's there. And then we look at this side, you notice that let's just stuff from it. We got to wash these down and clean them anyway. That gems tool that I was referring to, this has a cup on it. That cup sits on that case and supports that case. You do this out here so maybe you can see. Then this would ride on top of that bearing, and this goes through and lines up so that everything's held straight. When you press this in, that bearing has to go in straight. So that's the reasoning behind this gems tool, and if anybody ever tries to figure out how to use it, that's how you use it. Now for the right side, it'll be different. When we do that bearing, I'll show you that. The issue with the gems tool is the instructions are pretty, they're hard to kind of figure out. So what I was saying about this gems tool, if a fella is not familiar with this tool comes with instructions. I don't know. They're hard to read. I'm going to say that. You got to read the instructions about 5 times to figure out how that tool's supposed to work. And But you can figure it out. That's the good thing. And what we're going to be doing on this right side is, we know this bearing has numbers on it. Those numbers are going to go towards you. Both sides in the cases, you want those numbers to go towards you. Now this has a left side down and a right side down. So you're going to want to put that on that bearing, and it kind of locks into place. And I'm just going to drop that to that bearing so we don't have to worry about stuff shifting on us. And now we got, we need the other part of the tool. And I'm going to flip this over, because even though I've read the instructions, I want to make sure we're pressing this back in right. So that's kind of where that goes. And then that's going to set on. I'm almost positive, and I'm going to double check the instructions just to make sure. I'm pretty positive that this end is for the inside of the cam cover, because the bosses inside the cam cover line up with the inside of that tool. So that's kind of a dead giveaway, but I want to double check just to make sure before we go setting this up in the press. And that's gonna sit there nice and easy. And let me double check the instructions for the right side. Okay, so like I said, I was correct. It says bottom piece cup side down, which we have. This plate we want to put right side down toward the bearing. Then we're going to drop this in, and this lines everything back up all the way to the bottom piece. Now we can put this in the press and get it lined up. So give me just a minute. Yeah, this is fun. Okay. So we now have the bottom support cup side down on the Jim's tool. Make sure I get this under that. Get this in the right spot. That's all good. We have that plate facing down. And we got the alignment tool and the press ram all set up. Now, of course, I'm going to have to let go of this and pray that it stays where it's at so I can get the pliers here. I don't want to go to the other garage in the cold and get that rod for this thing, so I'm just using a pair of pliers. You're going to try and center this up as best you can. That way everything's got a nice straight push. And it seems to be pressing right in. I mean, this is the best way to do it if you got this tool. I don't think I would do this unless I had this tool. Reason being is this plate, this cup plate that sits on top of the bearing, pushes the bearing to exactly where it needs to be. And on this right side case, there is there's no lip. So that bearing gets pushed in, and then you put a snap ring in there to hold the bearing on the opposite side. And we're pressed down, and it's that easy. Like I said, don't overdo that. You just want to make sure you're good and solid, and that has press that bearing all the way in. Now let's pull this back out. And here's the Jim's tool. There we go. We pull that out. This said right side down. That's where we press that bearing to. And then underneath this is, that's the cup. That's the whole tool, and it does both sides. You don't have to have two tools. That's both sides. And we now have this bearing placed where it needs to be. Now, on this side, it looks like it's proper as well. It's right to that line where it should be. That's all good. Everything seems flush. I think we're good. Next step is going to be for me to take these out to the parts washer and clean these cases real good. Just because we've been handling them, they've been setting. I cleaned them out once, but we're going to clean them out again. And there's still a little bit of gasket material still on this. I say gasket material, but that's the gasket sealer. These don't have gaskets between the cases. These are a metal to metal fit. So you want to make sure these are super clean. And when you apply the new gasket stuff, you want to make sure that it's right. And any of these holes, you want to get a pick and get in them. And make sure you get the Permatex out of them. Because believe it or not, that little bit of Permatex is in that hole. When you go to drive that bolt back in there, you're going to drive that to the bottom of the hole. And then what's going to happen is once that hits the bottom of that hole, you're going to put pressure on those threads, believe it or not. So, and we'll be putting the piston squirters in here, the new S&S piston squirters. So we want to get these gaskets out there. And the new piston squirters are going to go in right there. And I'll probably pick up with you guys on this project tomorrow after they're good and clean. And because we're going to try to get the crank dropped into this tomorrow or the next day. I got some other jobs that are more pressing right now. We're still waiting on the guy that's doing the heads for this. The heads went out to a custom speed shop, and when he drops those off, we'll talk about his shop. There's a friend of the guy who owns this, and he did the heads the first time, and being as he knew what we were doing, he wanted to go ahead and help out on the project and do the heads for this time as well. We made some changes, better rocker studs, better rocker shafts. I got all those in from S&S, and he took the heads and cylinders because he has boring machines. I don't have a boring machine here, and we used to hand bore the shovels and pans and stuff without issues, but this is such a big horsepower build, I don't want to even attempt to hand bore this. So he took it to the cylinders to his speed shop, took the head so he could put in new studs, because we actually changed out the studs to high performance studs for the rockers to get all that done while we were doing this. So just kind of doing some pre-cleanup on these, but y'all don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be putting this 131 together over the next few weeks. So next couple of weeks probably should have it back together. We'll get to the fun part, putting this flywheel in. Gorgeous flywheel over there, getting ready to go in. This 4 5/8 stroke from S&S, and it is a stroker flywheel. So this did have an S&S 124 kit in it, but when we're done, it's going to be a 131 because of the stroker flywheel. So we appreciate everybody watching, checking out our videos. Just like to go over, our respect for you guys for taking the time to watch us, and we appreciate it. And we're trying to get the channel up to a little better format. I got some people coming in that are going to help with filming and some other stuff instead of just me doing basically everything. And we're going to try to put on, weekly shows that are come on at a certain time so you guys know when to catch us, and some other stuff like that. So kind of stay tuned for the next few weeks, and you're going to start seeing some changes in the way we do things and some other deals. What I mean by that is, like, we're probably going to start a Mechanic Monday and a Tech Tip Tuesday, and where you can kind of, the stuff that you're really into, you can kind of catch us on that day, instead of just randomly catching us as I get stuff uploaded. So we'd like to really bump up our subscribers and kind of get you guys in better as far as knowing when we're on, and knowing what type of content you're going to see when we do come on that day. And of course you'll see all the shorts, and probably the shorts are going to be related to whatever's being filmed that day. So it's kind of an easy way to check into things. Anyway, this is Dave from Iron Blackbird Cycles. And we got that case, we got the bearings in both cases now. So nothing left but to clean up and put those beautiful Strucker flywheels in. And of course the balancer's sitting there as well. We got new balancer bushings in these cases now as well. So y'all be sure and come back and see us. This is Dave with Iron Blackbird Cycles. Don't forget the subscribe button, please.